Oh yeah, me
Masters.
too. Yeah, he's an absolute moron. Absolute dunce cap.
I think he's playing worse than Freddie Couples.
Yeah, that's never good. Him and
we are live. Welcome to NBA Live Before Lock, the final weekday Live Before Lock of the regular season. Eric and I will be back on Sunday afternoon. What are you yelling about?
Me yelling? I didn't yell it.
Oh, I was just.
My God!
Well, I just see you screaming.
Chill, okay?
You're
Jordan, I'm
like
over it.
crazy.
I'm over you today. I'm over you. You come in immediately and you're just bitching about everything. Can you just shut up for like 2 seconds? Let me do the thing. Here you go. There's the airplay. There it is. It's live. Okay. God.
Jordan's
DraftKings
back here
Pick 6,
being Ricky
promo code
Stenicki.
Lindy.
Is everybody Live Before Lock? Shout out DraftKings Pick 6. I'm Josh. That's Eric. What's up?
Hi, not much. I'm good. Let's talk about the worst slate of the NBA season.
Have you watched Ricky Stenicki yet?
No.
Jordan? Funny, right? That was pretty good. Yeah. I mean, like, let's be clear.
What?
It's not a good movie, but it's funny as hell. You should watch it. It's good.
I watched Palm Springs last night. That was pretty good.
I watch it probably like once a quarter. Because I always dream that it happens. I just dream that it happens to me. I want that to happen to me in the worst possible way.
It'd be just incredible. And like, so my buddy Econ, we went to a show last week and, you know, we hadn't seen each other for a while. He was staying in Paris for a couple months. And so when he got back, we went to this event my wife was putting on that was really cool. And we're like, oh, what's the best movie you've seen in like the last 4 years? And I threw out Palm Springs because when I saw it, I just loved every second of it. I think it's genius. And obviously it's just a knockoff of Groundhog Day, but like it's put on by Lonely Island. It's like his production company, Adam Sandberg, that literally puts it on. And
you had it right the first time.
Oh, did I really? Yeah. Kristen Milotti, who is the mother from How I Met Your Mother, a diehard How I Met Your Mother guy. She is just fantastic in that movie too. And it's just a really well put together film. The weird part is the dinosaur thing. I don't understand that from the rewatch. I don't remember that the first time around, but like we all watched it. We partook in some nice things last night as far as we partook and then we watched it and it was an electric experience. It was great.
I mean, there's just so much to do if you get stuck in a time loop. It's so much fun.
We've hooked up thousands of times
just to have a day where you like you grab a flight, you go to Vegas, and you roll up to the roulette table, and you know what the next like 15 numbers are because you've been there before and you've seen it all, and you just watch people's minds melt as you're just like 37, 6, 00, and people are like, what the fuck? They throw you out of there and kill you or something in a Vegas desert. What a fun day that would be.
That's a good one because obviously he goes and plays darts a lot because he's really good at the darts in the bar in the wilderness there. Again, just stuff that I don't remember the first time around, but like just the ways that she just like runs in front of a bus just to start it over when they get arrested.
They crash a plane.
Like, it's like, what are we doing here? But I would absolutely love a limited time loop to be able to like relive a day multiple times. I think that would be. I think that'd be a pretty great experience.
It would take years and years and years and years and years of life for you to get bored.
Yeah.
Because like also you could just fly to Austin you could fly to Austin one random day and just like you're living a different day. It has nothing to do with the fact that it's still, February 11th.
Well, not only that, you could do insane stuff. You could go like parachuting, or you could go skydiving without a parachute just cuz, or you could do like insane stuff because protection against death would be like one of the best parts about it.
You need to carry around at all times like a reverse EpiPen, like an auto kill, or like because
that's smart.
You don't want to get stuck in just being hurt. So like, if you're hiking up a mountain and you tumble, you just give yourself one of those bad boys and you just wake up in your bed all comfortable and stuff. Like that wasn't the step to take.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, buddy. Can we talk basketball? Yeah.
Guys.
I bet we have time to talk basketball. Good Lord.
Adama Sanogo's 81% owned. You really need breakdowns for all these jerk-offs today? What are we doing here? Have some fun for once.
Oh my God.
Try smiling.
Go watch Palm Springs too while you're at it. Because again,
watch Ricky Stenicki.
Okay, I will. I'll watch that tonight. We'll watch that tonight. We're gonna go.
John Cena's hilarious.
Yeah, we're gonna go to Ohio for the weekend and go kick it. So it'll be fun.
OHIO, right?
OJAI.
Oh, I thought you were talking about going to the state of Ohio, but you had like a fun nickname.
God, no, definitely not. I would never.
All right, let's talk this slate so chat stops being all mean and stuff, not understanding how much fun life is.
Anything Josh is saying is better than the end of season DFS. Yeah, though that's probably
correct.
True here with today's
100%
slate.
Correct.
Yes.
So it's gross. It's gross. The Celtics an hour ago ruled out their entire team. Larry Bird's out. Robert Parrish is out. The whole squad. Nobody's around.
Nobody's around. Larry Bird today.
He could probably get a couple threes. If PJ Tucker can shoot corner threes, I'm sure Larry Bird can. All right, pay up options. This is where we normally start. Ace of spades, I'm going to get to you in a bit, but we got time. We got a lot of pay up options. We have $10,200 SGA, $10,300 AD, 10-4 LeBron, 11K Joel Embiid, 11-5 Wemby, 12-3 Nikola Jokic, 12-9 Luka Doncic. Now, to be clear, you can pay for anybody you want today. Everything's free. Might as well get rid of the salary cap at this point because you don't need it. It's roster spots and roster spots only. Who's the best pay up option?
So, I mean, Luka's not going to play, right?
I think he'd be out already.
So dumb. I hate Jason Kidd so much. I don't get it. I don't get what they're doing. It's Luka.
I bit my tongue there.
What?
I had a Jason Kidd line really queued up and it got to the tip of my tongue and I just swallowed that bad boy back. Wouldn't have been a good one to get on audio.
Probably a good call. We like being employed. Luka Doncic, friends, he is really high owned. He's really high optimal. He is your highest raw fantasy score guy, and salary isn't a thing. It is Luka. It is Jokic. That's the slate that you have before you, because with this Boston madness, it has changed pretty much everything that we're looking at. We have a 4K point guard in Jared Butler that is infinity percent owned, and Dalen Terry, because Chicago has everybody out, and Peyton Pritchard is just going to smash at 5,400, and we have Javon Carter and Sanogo, and I mean, there are eternal amount of 3K plays, and when you have that, you just go to the top of the board, and if Luka is playing basketball today, you just jam Luka, and it's going to be harder because a lot of these key players like Jared Butler, the aforementioned Peyton Pritchard, they're at point guard, so it's like him and Jokic. I reran everything with this insane Celtic stuff, and it would appear that Jokic is a little bit more optimal for me, just somebody who's showing up in more lineups. But Luka, he's the highest raw scorer here by 5 fantasy points. Why wouldn't you go that direction?
It looks like the best option. Although we do have a couple other guys in that range with comparable optimal rates. Luka's at around 14. Let me hit refresh because I have a feeling that's going to end up being wrong.
Yeah, Embiid too. He's right around 21.5. I just refreshed
35 minutes ago, 4 minutes ago. There we go. Yeah, I need an auto refresh button on this one, just like Odd Shopper.
Yeah,
you guys,
it's not a bad thing.
Team, just assume that I tagged you for that. All right, so now I got it sorted back again with the refresh. Yeah, 30% optimal to Luka, 22 to Jokic, 22 to Embiid, call it 22 to Anthony Davis for posterity's sake here. And then another 15 coming into Brunson, who's just outside of that 10K range. Should we just be paying a little bit more attention to Joel Embiid?
Yes and no. I mean, there's no doubt that, I bet his 30.5 points. It's at 31.5 over on Prize Picks now, so I feel okay about that. Playing basketball in a spot where Philly very much wants to win. You look at the playoff probabilities. Philly's right around 33% to get the 7 seed, 27% to get the 8 seed, but there is still better than a 1 in 3 chance that they move out of the play-in tournament. They're going to need help against Indy, and then they get to play Orlando today, so that is awfully useful. I have no problem making it Embiid, but I think with Joker and everything Denver's playing for that 1 seed specifically, we've seen him just on a torrid pace, and I project him for 5 more fantasy points. The $1,300 is negligible. So for me, it's like Jokic and Embiid together are fine, but if you're making me pick one, I'm definitely going Jokic.
Okay. The ownership gap there is massive right now. I'm really curious to see if that flattens out at all. 33 to Jokic on the last run, 10.5 to Embiid. Same exact optimal rate.
I'm looking at different spots that have it closer. I mean, we have the largest gap out of everywhere. Let me double check this one just to make sure I'm not talking on my ass.
While you pull that up, Radam has sent us $5 of made up money, but I appreciate that, man. Thanks for the super chat. Worst thing about the time loop is that you're never flying too far away. For example, you're never going to Japan. Sir, you need to learn what amphetamines are.
Just stay awake.
He said he made it to Equatorial Guinea once on crystal meth, but it didn't go well for him.
And she drives to Texas before falling asleep at her dad's place. And, you know, they have, I mean, there are plenty of.
If you're in Palm Springs, what's the flight to Japan?
Not very far. And also, the Earth is rotating to help you out, so you're going to get there quicker.
You lost me on that one. But either way, yeah, you're on the West Coast. You're good to go. It's harder. It's going to be harder to get to like Central Europe.
Yep. Fact.
But yeah, you eat a handful of amphetamines. Worst case scenario is you die because of it, and then you just wake up back in your own bed. It's perfect.
Yeah, you're definitely getting to Japan. Now, there are probably constraints as far as like Palm Springs. If you're in Palm Springs specifically, to fly somewhere else, because you're not going to get a direct from Palm Springs. You're going to have to go
you got to get to
LAX, and then you're going to go that direction. So there is that. Wind.
Well, the key here is I'm chartering a plane every time. I'm figuring out the path that gets me money immediately. I'm figuring out who I rob or the easiest way to just have a bunch of cash, and I'm just getting a plane or stealing a credit card, something like that. Taking out a bank loan that you know you're never going to pay back.
Absolutely.
You figure out this path's the money. I've thought about this way too much.
Also, the adrenaline kick you'd get from stealing shit and then getting your ass to Japan and being chased, that would be incredible.
Okay. Anyway, let's get back to the payouts. I could do this all day because the slate sucks.
We'll probably do that while we're in the middle of it. Jordan Klein's just like...
Are there any payups you just look at and think like, no, I gotta cross those off?
Not really. Just go back here to, I was looking at something else.
To the people that don't understand that this is one of the last slates of the day and it's total garbage to talk about, like, buckle up and have some fun, guys. Come on. You think there's analysis here? I don't even know who Adama Sanogo is.
I mean, it is, you're just kind of scattershotting. I think LeBron probably looks the worst out of everybody up there, but the ownership low. So
it's just hard to believe he cares enough to have to like destroy the Grizzlies.
I was gonna say 75 from LeBron to beat the Grizzlies seems like a little bit of a stretch to me in my mind. But again, it's LeBron. I wouldn't be completely shocked. I will say, I think Jalen Brunson, same thing we said yesterday, a little overowned. We maybe got bailed out by the fact that they were up 31 entering that fourth quarter. Ended up being a pretty fascinating closing rotation there as they just kept everybody on the floor and Tibbs didn't care. He's like, hey, as long as he knew he was playing absolute nobodies there, and those absolute nobodies are now going to be chalk beyond chalk today. But I am pretty positive LeBron is the guy that's going to get undercut the most for me. I have no problem with anybody else that I'm looking at here rostering them. You know what you're doing. You're trying to reduce some ownership. I guess Wemby on DK at 11.5. This is a price point we haven't necessarily talked about for him in a while. On FanDuel, that would be fine with the 3 points for blocks. I think his line's like 4.5 on Prize Picks for blocks today. Like, what are we even doing here? But Wemby against Denver, massive blowout concerns, and the fact that he's maybe a little bit underowned. It's kind of like back and forth. I can make a case for or against, but I would say Wemby, weird to say, but probably my least favorite of the guys not named LeBron James. How about you?
Yeah, I think it's Wemby. Just because you've got Jokic sitting there who looks better than him, and then you've got a cheaper Embiid that looks better than him, and he's just sort of like the spoiled meat in this sandwich. Yeah. Might not be the best way to talk about Victor Wembanyama here. I was trying to think of a French meat, but I couldn't think of anything.
Let's see. I can think of
he's the pate, but that's not going to be a sandwich.
Like the thinly sliced cut thing on the cheese board, like the charcuterie.
Oh, okay.
Thingy.
But yeah. I was thinking, we're trying to make more of a sandwich. I was implying that Jokic and Embiid are both bread. But are there popular French sandwiches?
There's baguettes. They're not sandwiches. They're just bread.
You just put good butter on that. He's the butter in a baguette sandwich.
Yeah. He could be the sweet onion in a bon femme omelet. How about that?
Sure. That sounds gross.
It's phenomenal. If you haven't had a bon femme omelet, please do yourself a service and find one. North Carolina, they probably don't ain't got none of them, but
I'm not onions shouldn't be the star of anything.
they are sweet onions on like with really good. So bon femme omelet is basically you take sour cream over top of the omelet, and then it's got potato and sweet onion in it, and it is phenomenal. Grilled onions.
No, that sounds
Yes.
terrible.
You
Anything else about the pay-ups?
Nope, that's pretty much all we got to talk about. I just get to the guys who project for the most points. Hashtag analysis.
All righty. Ace of spades. This one's for you.
Oh, man.
Luka Doncic, Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, Victor Wembanyama.
Doncic.
Luka Doncic it is. Anthony Davis, SGA, LeBron James.
Anthony Davis.
I agree. Trae Young, Jalen Brunson, Anthony Edwards, who is questionable now, and DeJounte Murray, who is also questionable.
Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, that kind of just has to be, right?
By a lot.
All right.
By a
Tier 4.
mile.
Donovan Mitchell, Tyrese Halliburton, Tyrese Maxey, Paolo Banchero, Emmanuel Quickly.
Halliburton.
I think it's Mitchell for me.
Okay.
Could go either direction for that one, but I think I would lean Mitchell. Not Quickly. Tier 5, Bam Adebayo, Jamal Murray, Miles Bridges, Jimmy Butler, Jared Allen.
Bam Adebayo.
Yeah, Bam pretty clearly based on our projections, at least.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, Tier 6, Pascal Siakam, Evan Mobley, D'Angelo Russell, Cam Thomas, Chris Middleton, Josh Giddey.
Siakam, then Thomas.
Yeah, Siakam, then Middleton for me.
Okay.
But, I ride for Middleton. I can't help that one.
Yeah,
you go, Ace of Spades. Thank you for that. Sean Jeezy, does Embiid play 40 minutes here? Nick Nurse said he's not holding anything back tonight. Not a fan of coach speak in general, but seems plausible here. I'd be shocked.
Shocked beyond shocked beyond shocked. Actually, it would be almost straight out negligence to play Joel Embiid 40 minutes.
Yeah, that would really surprise me. I could see him picking up an extra minute or two down the stretch if the game is close and they're trying to ice it. But I don't see any scenario where he's picking up extra first half minutes.
Yeah, I'm normally the guy who talks about stretching guys' minutes out by 2, 3, where it's like, hey, I could see it on the right tail. And we never really talk about the inverse because we're looking at certain players to succeed. And then I guess we talk about it a little bit when you're talking about chalk options that have a floor for minutes. But Joel Embiid, I feel like he's the classic case for me of somebody that it's just almost downright wrong to project him for more than 32 minutes today. If it happens, congratulations. But there's no planet where I think you should be projecting him for that.
Alrighty. Well, now we've been talking about the slate for a little bit, no matter what anybody else says. We worked our way through the pay-ups of the night, but there's one play that we should be very interested in for today. And on a day like today, when all of the starters get ruled out, the exotics come out. So who is your exotic play of the day? The last 3 days of the regular season is like exotic Christmas for basketball. It's like, hey, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th guy on the bench. You're in. 80s basketball or 60s basketball tonight, baby.
Jordan Klein's going to love this one because this is the OG. This is the OG exotic. This is the guy who brought the exotic play of the night into existence. My God, every time he is Steve Irwin makes absolute no sense.
I'm taking Adama Sanogo.
Oh my God. You knew it right away, Jordan. You literally had it pre-planned. How did you know that was going to be the exotic play ahead of time?
I think we need a new, an extra column in the boom bust tool that labels these dudes because some I have to look up.
It's called Google. Mr. ChatGPT over there.
Or we could just color code the name column or something. Either way, Eric, who is your exotic play of the day?
Just cue up the graphic again, Jordan Klein. Just have fun. Go ahead. Just is what it is. There's no way that it isn't that beautiful gentleman right there, Peyton Pritchard.
I didn't even know that
There's
was
going to
Peyton
be
Pritchard.
the OG exotic. I have him in for 32 minutes. I don't see any way that sharing a floor with Sviva Mikhailuk, Sam Hauser, O'Shea Brissett, Luke Cornett, that you're not going to see eternal usage and eternal opportunity for him to go completely nuts. Now, there is at least the case to be made where Jaden Springer could get a little extra run, because like Peyton Pritchard played well enough to justify kind of that same rotation of like 12, 16 minutes come playoff time where you can do that. But you're going to see Drew Holiday play a lot more, I think, come playoff time. You're going to see Derek White extended a lot more. If you had something happen to Peyton Pritchard, like it wouldn't be the end of the world for Boston here. So I think he just gets unlimited run. Give him an opportunity to lead the show, and he's just a little bit more expensive than some of these other cheapies, like the Jared Butler piece, the other guys that we're looking at point guard, Javon Carter. But I am all about the OG exotic, Mr. Peyton Pritchard, exotic play of the day.
Fantastic play. Currently ranking 4th in our optimal rate. I'm going a little bit further down the board today. This man had a very massive game last time out, and his team is equally as shorthanded today as they were 2 days ago.
Jake the Snake?
The white of the night.
Oh my God.
Is Jake LaRavia.
Yeah.
He played 40 minutes last time out, and probably going to do it again tonight, barring foul trouble. Like they have 8 dudes again. So Jake LaRavia, come on down. You're the next contestant for the white of the night. Whoo! You got to get to it too. I mean, we're small forward, power forward, 5,300, 19% optimal, 13% owned. Yep. Great GPP play.
Yeah, he tried to win me some money the other night. We jammed him on this show. And so for everybody bitching and, hollering, maybe listen to some stuff. Because, yeah, Jake LaRavia was an awesome play, was contrarian at 5K. Nobody really wanted to get to it, which is surprising when there's 8 guys on a slate. Now, everybody has like 8, 9 dudes that are playing basketball today. So there's more opportunities for you to kind of distribute that ownership somewhere else. But as you said, Jake LaRavia, he is an outstanding play today. 5,300, really no problem. And tons of positive leverage. So I like that shout out. I don't think I'm getting tons of positive leverage with Peyton Pritchard, but with like a 6% bust percentage and projecting north of 35 points, it's hard for me not to like him.
Couple things. One, Kobe White was not the white of the night last night. DeMar DeRozan absolutely did everything that I expected him to do the moment we knew that he could do. None of that went well. And then Jalen Green just got like benched. He went out, missed a defensive assignment, and they sat him again. It was the Fred VanVleet night. Somebody was going to be able to dominate in that backcourt. Turns out it was Fred VanVleet. I got to read this comment from Lazy Mofos. Holy baby powder. It's throwback night for that Boston lineup.
It's baby powder night? What does that mean?
Peyton Pritchard, Luke Cornett. They're running out a classic Boston Celtics exotic lineup.
Oh.
The end of the Celtics are very exotic, classically exotic.
I mean, do you have any concerns for Peyton Pritchard potentially being somebody they actually reduce minutes to? Yeah, I don't think so either.
Not at all.
Just making sure. I'm with you.
Alrighty. Well, we've been talking a little bit about payups. We talked about some exotic plays. We got to talk about the fact that you can get our UFC DFS package for 30% off using the promo code 300. It's a massive UFC pay-per-view tomorrow. I wrote an article for it. I know Greg's done a video for it. You should watch it. It's going to be high entertainment. And they're giving out $300,000 bonuses for like knockouts and fight of the night and stuff. So these guys might just be swinging from the fences, and it's going to get really fun because 300 large for some of these dudes that are making like 20K to show. It's a little bonkers amount of money to just let some punches fly. That should add to your entertainment, and that should add to the reason why you want to sign up and grab this package and get 30% off. We have projections. We have ownership. We have the top fighters tool that gives you average length of the fight, their odds of being a top 6 scorer, all sorts of advanced data. And we have the MMA DFS sims. I know Greg has spoken very highly about them. He's been smashing this DFS season. It's a great tool. I love our sims. I use them constantly. You guys can use them too. Click the link in chat or the one in the description. Get 30% 30% off using the promo code 300.
Quick question also,
Hit
because
me.
we're DraftKings Pick Six, and you guys can sign up for that here as well and fire that up. But you're talking the UFC here. They just got Pick Six for UFC 300. So UFC making its debut here. Have you looked at anything on the board there? Or is there a bet that you have in? Or is there something that you might be interested in? Because I had a couple that were sticking out to me and wanted to run them by you for the UFC card.
Put a pin in that.
Okay.
We'll get that in 20 minutes.
Gotcha.
GPP plays. Now, today is basically find a bunch of the chalk at the top and then pick whoever you like, as long as they've got like a real name and real playing time. We've got a bunch of guys here with heavy positive leverage in the boom bust tool, but just in general, there are plenty of names that you could like today that work in large field contests. Who are some of your favorite GPP plays?
So we'll start with the other side of the Chicago game. We did get news that Denny Avdia is in. That's a little bit surprising to me, but I want to see the starting lineup. We've seen massive minutes for Patrick Baldwin Jr. He's played 33 and 38 minutes now. What?
Can I cut you off for a second?
Sure.
Luka Doncic unlikely to play. I figure that's important enough to put a pause on it.
I mean, I just wish this news had come out later, because my other guy that I was going to talk about was Tim Hardaway Jr. or Dante Exum, because I brought it up at the top of the show. I just found it impossible to believe that you would play Luka Doncic in a game that was meaningless. Like, why would you risk it? Like, maybe on Sunday, just to get some reps in, play a quarter, play a half, do something. But the health is exponentially more important than anything else to Luka and Kyrie. And you're playing Detroit. It's so dumb. So right from the get-go, Dante Exum, Tim Hardaway Jr., and I think Jaden Hardy probably now at a flat 3K is somebody that you want to keep your eye on, because Tim Hardaway Jr. actually in that rotation. I think this is a Jaden Hardy spot to potentially see him play some massive minutes. 3K, point guard, shooting guard. We've seen multiple times where you would expect Jaden Hardy to get run and he really doesn't, but this is kind of the inverse situation now where Dallas has nothing to play for in the playoffs, nothing to play for in this game, getting ready for the playoffs. I think 3K Jaden Hardy, if he just came out and started, I would not be surprised at all.
Yeah, the starting lineup will be huge there. I think, PJ Washington's going to look great. Exum's going to look great. There's going to be a lot coming from basically everybody on the team is going to look at least decent just by default by not having Kyrie Irving and Luka out there. You know what would have been great? If we just got right into it right out of the beginning of the show and did all of this amazing analysis for this slate to just continually throw this kind of garbage at us. It's almost like it's a ridiculous slate that has news that's never going to stop coming in and changing everything the moment we talk about it. I don't know. I could be wrong there. Anyway, GPP plays.
Man of the people, Josh Engleman.
Read the room. This slate is going to be an absolute disaster. Make sure you're watching on playback tonight from 7 to 8, because 10 of the 11 games happen during that time, and I'm sure there's going to be a whole bundle of garbage that pops up from 7:10 through 7:45.
Yeah, I think for me, the thing that tipped me off is that I watch as the pick six plays come on throughout the day. I get a majority of my action, prize picks, pick six. I think most people know that at this point, but like pick six is phenomenal. You want to be playing over there. And they have been very, very cautious, if you will, with news and rolling guys out. Luka Doncic was the only Dallas piece available the entire day. And the cutoff is 3 p.m. for like Pacific time for them to introduce new plays or to be done with it. Luka was the only play they had out there. That was just like a red herring, if you will, where it was like, all right, we already had the Kyrie out. Why wouldn't Luka follow? Now that he is, I mean, it just, yeah, you talk about backloading lineups, trying to react to news. This came out a little bit earlier than I was hoping for, but alas, we can still fire up something there. You're going to just need to react to whatever the starting lineup is. There's a lot of scenarios. More than likely, Tim Hardaway Jr. still comes off the bench no matter what. As long as they have him active, I'll still play him and still be happy to fire him up. But I think you're probably looking at Dante Exum. I think Jaden Hardy probably is the number 2 there. I think Jaden Hardy has a really good chance to start. Derek Jones, you probably still go Washington. Gafford. Gafford did ding up his hand against Miami. He looked fine the other night still, so that's fine. But you could see Dwight Powell be somebody that they dust off and kind of keep Daniel Gafford at bay. He's been very, very efficient for them. I think he made like 21 field goals in a row or something ridiculous. Dwight Powell might end up being somebody that we talk about if they just completely rest everybody. And then PJ Washington, who plays 34, 36 minutes a night, he could go by the wayside, and it could be like Olivier Maxence Prosper or Markieff Morris or guys who just really, really don't matter to them. But I'm going to have Jaden Hardy as the starter. I'm going to put him at 34 minutes, and I think he's going to be my favorite play of the slate.
Are you a believer in the 5% ownership coming into Jaden Springer right now? Because we have him 16.5% optimal and the number 2 leverage play on the slate. Is that going to get a correction? It's going to get a correction, right? That's going to skyrocket. Yeah. Luke Cornett's going to skyrocket. That just has to happen on our next ownership run, right?
I think so. I mean, they called up Peterson, JD Davison, Jordan Walsh. They're all with the team today. So there's ways that they limit some of the minutes of these Celtics. Like Sam Hauser is probably somebody that
that's the scarier one. Like Springer, I think
nervous because he matters.
I don't think they cut Springer
to this team.
Like I think Springer gets full run.
I'm probably with you. I think there's a chance he starts. I think it's probably Pritchard, and it's one of Svi Mikhailuk or Jaden Springer. And then Sam Hauser, O'Shea Brissett, Luke Cornett. That's my assumed starting lineup, but I do think that one's kind of a 2v2 swap of like, if Svi starts, I'll probably have more Svi. If it's Springer, I'll have more Springer. But again, I will say I'm probably going to have 100% Jaden Hardy now. I just threw it all in. Yeah.
Do you know what a Henry Drell is?
No, I've never heard of that person in my life. That's make-believe.
Well, he's got the 6th highest leverage score on the slate right now. Small forward, flat 3K, obviously. 13% optimal, 6% owned. He's on the Bulls, just FYI.
This is probably a slate where it would be awesome to have Mr. Rinpack, Mr. They are starting Bateem. I was excited for this. I was hoping we were going to get this Bulls kid that every time he showed up in the lineup, he's looked pretty good. So I'm excited to see him play. Isaiah Jackson ruled out, but Bulls, White, Bateem, Terry, Craig, Green. What a beautiful starting lineup that is. Good
what
Lord
Green?
Almighty. There's Javante, right? It's got to be it.
Okay, and that's just not written in like the correct order. Okay.
Right, he's not a 5, so but
I guess technically
he's the only green on the roster that I'm aware of.
Yeah, it is. I just when I saw it, I was just like, oh, do they have like some random idiot at the end of the bench that's a big? But yeah, that's just not written in the correct order. I guess Torrey Craig or Dalen Terry or Torrey Craig's the center.
Yeah. I mean, this makes sense that Coby White would be the guy that they're going to have out there. He hasn't looked right for the last month. You kind of want to build his confidence up, and what a better spot than to start up against Johnny Davis, Corey Kispert, Denny Avdia, Patrick Baldwin, who I still really, really like now that he's starting, and Tristan Vukcevic. Like, this is like Coby White, dust him off, let him play Eternal Run, and like Coby White's a really good play, I think, today too.
Better than he was yesterday.
Well, is it possible to be worse? We're pretty light on Coby White. There's a massive minutes. I'm looking at one site. They've got one thing that seems a lot more than us. I'm looking at Basketball Monster. They have Coby White for a lot more than us.
By the way, we need to have a conversation about the fact that 66% owned Adama Sanogo is now not starting for the Bulls at flat 3K.
Oh, shit. Yeah. I mean, also... This is
right now
weird
in
starting
our
lineup.
Right now in our ownership, 2 of the 3 highest owned guys are Adama Sanogo and Luka. One of those guys isn't starting, and the other guy just got ruled out. 120% of the current allocated ownership is about to just immediately change in a huge way.
Rinpack, why are they playing Coby White? I mean, if you watched Coby White play in the last couple weeks, he's been terrible. He had an amazing February. Got dinged up. Has not been right for a while. You put on any of those games, it's been brutal. I think this is just a confidence building thing for Coby White. You need to win 2 games. And this current version of Coby White isn't a whole lot of fun. I think this is just like, I legitimately think this could be like play Coby White endless minutes and just let him try to just smash. Like, I think he's actually a good play that nobody wants to click on because we all assume the same thing where it's like, why is Coby White playing?
I'm in a tough bind here talking about Kobe White. Nobody's going to take me seriously after yesterday.
But here's the thing. There's nothing serious. These are not serious people. That's basically what this entire slate is just make-believe, creative players that we're trying to figure out who is more likely to fuck us and who is more likely to not. And like, that's where, for me, I'm so happy to just take the stand on a day like this. I'm playing 20 lineups. I'm playing baseball primarily. Like, I feel so much better just jamming Jaden Hardy. And if he's not starting, pivoting elsewhere and not having a ton of this first game, this Chicago-Washington game. Like, I'm going to play a lot of Patrick Baldwin. Sub 4K starting. I have no reason to not believe that he's a good play. I think Denny Avdia, probably a contrarian piece that, what's Denny's current ownership? Because he wasn't pulling a whole lot of anything. He's decent. 7,600, 40 plus against this version of the Bulls team. Like, Denny Avdia, they've just played normal run every time he's been out there. He was downgraded for an illness, so I have no reason to believe he's not a decent contrarian piece. But yeah, without Luka, point guard becomes pretty easy to do whatever the hell you want with these value pieces, and I just want Jaden Hardy.
Anybody else you want to touch on from a GPP play perspective?
Have we talked about scenarios where the Mavs just play like 7 guys? And it's like AJ Lawson.
I think they're probably more likely to just play everybody they have that's not bolted down.
So that's not Kyrie, that's not Luka. Just everybody. Okay. Interesting.
I don't think they're going to consolidate. I'd be surprised if they consolidated.
Okay. Well, we have 8 guys. We haven't talked about Memphis. You brought up Jake LaRavia as the exotic play of the night, but Jordan Goodwin back, Scottie Pippen feels like not slept on. That's not the right way of putting it, but I still think Scottie Pippen Jr. is a good play at 6,300. It's just hard at point guard to not want to get to the 3K, 4K guys. What's funny?
What'd you say?
Oh, I thought you were laughing about something. Jordan Goodwin was a little bit overowned, but he has the shooting guard eligibility, I suppose, but that won't matter with me with Hardy now.
Yeah, like, I mean, for Memphis, really, any one of LaRavia, Goodwin, Pippen, Jackson, like, you could work those guys in pretty regularly. They're all 10 to 15% owned in some different way. A little bit of positive leverage on GG Jackson. It looks good. But we need one major play today. One guy that's just going to destroy the slate. Some might say, nuke it.
Okay.
Kaboom. Kaboom. Eric, who is your nuke of the night?
I have 100% of him, so it's got to be Jaden Hardy. He is a flat 3K. And for people who aren't aware, he can go out and chuck and get you a bucket. And I don't think they're worried about his minutes whatsoever. In a completely meaningless game, these are the kind of plays that I hope don't get any kind of traction. Now, he'll probably get some traction. We've got 1.6K people hanging out with us. Smash that like button. We appreciate you. But there's no way that I am looking at a guy like Jaden Hardy today and seeing the potential of him starting and not just jamming him and figuring out the rest later. Again, a flat 3K for him. You take Luka and Kyrie. I'm trying to talk slow because my add more funds is just slow as shit for me lately. But Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, you take them both off the floor. This is an opportunity for anybody else in a Dallas uniform to get buckets. You're taking 30-ish% usage for Kyrie, 35-ish% usage for Mr. Luka Doncic off a floor, and it creates an opportunity to just jam the rest of the guys. You have Tim Hardaway Jr., a 1.25 DraftKings points per minute player with Luka and Kyrie off the floor this season, but not far behind, and a flat 3K, a fantasy 1.01 DraftKings points per minute player, Jaden Hardy, your nuke of the night.
I have nothing to add to that. He looks assuming he starts, he looks amazing and should just absolutely destroy so long as we don't have Kyrie and officially we don't have Luka. I'm going heavy chalk here, but I can't help it in this spot. He's massively owned. He might be the highest owned guy right now. He is. He's the highest owned guy. He's 67% optimal. I think he's so very clearly the best play on the slate that I just want to reiterate it here. I could never get away from Jared Butler. He's 4K. He's point guard only. Nobody else on the Wizards has a pulse. This dude likes to get after it. I think that for him to get to a value score for his price tag is almost guaranteed. He's 4K. We have him projected for 37 fantasy points. He has a 90% boom rate. The next closest boom rate is in the 60s. He's just not on the same level as any other play for me today. So that is why Jared Butler is my nuke of the night.
Don't mind it whatsoever. He's my third highest owned player. So
all right, sir, you wanted to talk about it earlier. Now we're going to talk about it. A little bit of DraftKings Pick 6. Click the link in chat or the one in the description. You can get up to $100 in DK Pick 6 credits. It's peer-to-peer. It's pick 'em. And it's really fun. I have been slowly but surely digging in now that it is legal in North Carolina. So I'm coming for Eric's money too. Eric, give a little bit of the key tenets to Pick 6.
So a couple of the key tenets: late swap in the NBA, you're allowed to switch out your picks. So at Prize Picks, at Underdog, at other places like that, you don't have the ability to swap. You do at Pick 6. So a lot of times I'll start with the latest games. I will build out my favorite plays there, and I will slowly integrate them in 3, 4, 5, 6 pick plays. I'll usually have 20 or 30 of them going simultaneously, and I will just sort my best and favorite plays. I will also run into spots throughout the night where then I have 5 of 5, or like 5 out of my 6 plays, and I'll literally just split the difference and take the profit by taking both sides of the same play, or reacting to just having the best plays on the entire slate throughout the entire night. So that is a huge part to playing Pick 6, is the late swapping in NBA. The other one is correlation. You're allowed in MLB specifically to correlate your entire card together. So today, I'm looking at earned runs allowed for a number of pitchers. I have 15 cards in play in MLB. I have Michael King as a part of a number of them, and I'm going to be shorting the Dodgers, where I take less on the individual runs for Freeman, for Muncy, and I'm going to pair that together with Michael King, because obviously under 2.5 runs for him, more than likely Freeman, Muncy, not a great chance to be able to get on the board there. So utilizing correlation and late swap puts you way above the game over on Pick 6. We also, over on Odd Shopper now, are integrating amazing tools. You go to the Fantasy Optimizer. We had Prize Picks. We had Underdog. We now have Pick 6. Update it in real time. You have an opportunity to see better plays as they show up throughout the night. They react to the marketplace. So you are truly getting the best plays simply by having Odd Shopper. So sign up for Odd Shopper, and you have an amazing opportunity to be ahead of the game just by playing the best plays. And DraftKings right now is recouping your money up to a certain point. So if you have a payout that would be so extremely low with a bunch of -200, -250 plays at sportsbooks, you're getting that back in bonus bet credit right now. So it's not even negotiable. If you have DraftKings Pick 6 and you're not jamming every day here for a majority of your play, you're flat out doing it wrong. You're leaving money on the table, and you need to reconsider how you're going about making money. It's the thing I play the most in my life. By far, it is the future of the way that we're going to play props and the way you want to play props, which is peer-to-peer.
I no longer have Jared Butler as my nuke of the night because Jared Butler is not starting for the Washington Wizards. We have now updated data. Chat, calm down. Honestly, what would you guys do if we weren't here? Just put in all guys that aren't playing? What do you want me to do? I'm not cutting him off in the middle of the read to correct it. 35.5% boom percentage now. Your nuke of the night is Dalen Terry. Good? You guys going to be okay now? Everything's fine? You can all put Dalen Terry into a lineup? It's 3,500. He is starting for the Chicago Bulls. 67% boom rating, 40% optimal. Go ahead and grab Dalen Terry. Hope everybody can calm down. Apologies for not being able to say that in the middle of Eric's read about Pick 6. I know how much that would have mattered to everybody. Keith Wilson says, Anthony Gill, ?
Not for me today. No. I will not play any Anthony Gill. He is not starting. Again, it was him or Patrick Baldwin. It ended up being Baldwin. I'm playing a lot more Baldwin.
Jordan, hit the refresh button on Jay's super chat if we can. Suns Kings highest showdown optimal lineup. I can't help you with that one, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a toughie.
Can't help you with that one. I have no mechanism to help you with the highest projected optimal lineup for a showdown. contest. That's not something I could even do right now if I wanted to. I would have done it if I could. I have no mechanism to actually do that.
We got our ownership updated. Do we have the projections? Not yet, not yet. Almost Sims tool. Almost ready to rock.
Who are you fading?
It's a good question. I have no freaking clue because I need to rerun my sim now with 100% Jaden Hardy. I projected him for 36 fantasy points, which is 6 fantasy points higher than we have here. Again, he is projecting for 10x, so that seems good here. We just got that update a little bit ago. I think I'm going to be lower on Sonoga because he's just pulling tons of ownership still. And I don't agree. I don't think he's going to pull that now that he's not starting, but there's still going to be remnants of people who maybe ran lineups 15 minutes ago, and he'll still be there at a flat 3K. He'll still get run too, but I do think there's a good chance that they go to Jaden Springer instead of Svi Mikhailuk. We have Svi at 44.5% owned. I definitely am going to be underneath that. He's also going to have to contend for usage with Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, who actually matters, Luke Cornett, who actually matters. Svi Mikhailuk is out there as a minutes filler. Same thing with O'Shea Brissett. They're all flat 3K, but how many flat 3K pieces do I need? I prefer Javon Carter at a flat 3K. Jaden Hardy, I have 100% of at a flat 3K. I don't really need anybody else there at that number. So I think Sonogo, definitely number 1 to chop it off. Svi, number 2, and O'Shea Brissett, there's no way when I run this that I'm going to get to 37% O'Shea Brissett. Although amongst those 3, I definitely will still at least get to him, whereas I'll probably have next to none of the other 2.
Yeah, Svi certainly scares me a little bit. That one, I get nervous there.
Yes and
obviously
no.
the Jared Butler ownership is going to come down. Like one of Svi or O'Shea Brissett. Like I hate the idea of them being around 40% a piece. I get why they are, but those are some of the spots that start to scare me because value is just so plentiful. So I see him as both of those guys in a way as a bit of a fade, but I wouldn't, at the very least, I'd want one of the two, not both. Portis scares me a little bit. Only a 25% boom rating. He's 13% owned. We only have him 7% optimal. You know, top 10 negative leverage play. That one makes me a little nervous. Like maybe they don't just go the full way with him on a day like today. But it's just so many of these guys are in such great spots that like you understand why they're pulling that kind of ownership. It's not crazy. You just have to find something else that's comparable around that salary tier.
That's the right way of looking at it. Yeah, for me, I am. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of comparable stuff, but then there's outliers. Like I think Jaden Hardy's an outlier, the way that I look at it. Peyton Pritchard, kind of an outlier because he's 5,400. I project him for nearly 40 fantasy points, 38. If you put him for, I have him for a few more minutes than it would appear we do. I go through this. We haven't talked about the Knicks at all. They ran into like the perfect scenario. I know Brooklyn plays slow and this isn't going to be like perfectly ideal in that sense of the word, but last night they were up by 31 entering the fourth. And if you looked at the closing rotations, you had Bojan Bogdanovic there. He won't be there tonight. You had Miles McBride there. He won't be there tonight. You had a number of guys that just typically aren't there. You had Precious Achiuwa there. So you have an opportunity to see 40 plus minutes for these guys in any sort of competitive spot. I think Josh Hart, somebody who moves up my board a little bit, is somebody to like contrarian have sneak through the cracks. Just wanted to throw out the Knicks because even though they're not quote unquote value, I mean, anybody here that's 38 to 40 fantasy points in that 6-7K range, I like integrating into lineups a little bit more because it feels like it's going to be extreme to flat 3K and Jokic. And so if you can find a couple of pieces of differentiation there, that can be useful.
Who's taking the big old dumper in your bed?
Probably Jokic because I'm doing the jam Jokic thing. So 50 from Jokic would really, really piss me off.
You know who's probably going to be the Amber Heard play of the day for me?
Oh,
I think it's pretty easy now. Jared Butler is probably just going to go out there and crush off the bench after everything that I said. So I'm giving him the reverse DeMar DeRozan. I recommended it before. Chat screamed and moaned once he wasn't in the starting lineup. We're pulling that one back. Amber Heard play of the day, Jared Butler.
He had to work into one of the segments at that point.
He really did. There was no real other way around it.
It's fair.
That was the way that it had to be. All right, we can open this one up to questions. We got about 4 minutes to go until we get the lock, so make sure you hit that like button if you haven't done it yet. I'm taking a peek here to see what we got. If you have 1v1 and 2v2 questions, remember, you can just go to stokastic.com, use the player compare tool for free, and get projections and ownership and optimal rates and boom and bust and all of that good stuff. All in front of your face, and it gives you the recommendation. That might work for you guys. But sorry we give out that free stuff. I know how awful that could be. Thoughts on Javonte Green? He should be great. They tend to play him a lot anytime anybody's out, and now everybody's out.
Yep, I like him, like Dalen Terry.
Yeah, I think I prefer Terry, but other than that,
I do prefer a little bit of Terry. Some Mavs players only expected to play a half. Others may not play at all. Oh, fuck yeah. This is what I was dreaming for.
So the guys that are going to play the half are probably like Tim Hardaway is probably going to play a half. Yep. I wouldn't be surprised if PJ Washington is the guy that's like playing a half.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, he's constantly hurt. That makes Jaden Hardy look a lot better.
Yeah, he looks incredible. I had him for 36. I'm going to take him to 38. He's going to be in every lineup. Well, he was already going to be in every lineup, but just wanted you guys to know that he's the best player on the slate, bar none to me.
These end of the year, man. Do you realize how much ridiculous fun we're going to have on Live Before Lock on Sunday?
Yeah. I think Olivier Prosper character, I want to play him.
Omax Prosper.
Thank you. I fucking don't care. I'm just going to play him. I think he has to be walking into more minutes now.
Is AJ Lawson available?
That's the other guy. AJ Lawson, like, I think by the wording of that, like PJ Washington out, Daniel Gafford out, Dante Exum probably a half.
AJ Washington stepped into minutes earlier in the year in a couple situations where we didn't really project him like that. I don't mean we, I mean like the industry. It's right. Like it ended up being him. This could be a day where they just throw a bunch at him because he fits a physical role for the team that they don't have a lot of if they're going to be putting a bunch of these dudes on ice.
Agreed. That's a fun bit to get right before lock. I would just be cautious with whatever you're doing with the Celtics. Make sure you're reacting to starting lineups because that's going to be a big part of today. If you're not doing that, you just probably shouldn't be playing the slate altogether. And go Mavericks.
This is going to be a hell of a slate. An absolute ridiculous night of basketball. And 11 games on the slate. 10 of them will lock while we're live on playback from 7 to 8 o'clock. And that is where we're going exclusively right now. Playback.tv/stokastic. If you have League Pass, congratulations. Sync it up. Watch the games along with us. And I mean the same exact stream. Chat is instantaneous. We're just hanging out. We'll talk news. We'll talk bets. We'll talk all of the people that start off well and all of the people that are crushing our lineups. We're going to be there for a full hour. Greg is probably already there right now. I'm about to join him. It's the last real, extra special fun playback stream. We're not stopping playback. We're not going anywhere. We're going to be there for the rest of the month. But regular season NBA slates, this is the final one that we have that's going to look like really, really good. So make sure you're tuning in. Come join us on playback. It's been swell, folks. Buckle up for this ridiculousness. It's not going anywhere on Saturday or Sunday either. What's good?
Denny Avdia, yes, we love him. Anyone around him better? No. Denny Avdia is the best play out of that 7K range.
There we go. Thank you, guys. We're getting on out of here. Peace.